Oh, yeah. Hold on, let me
Came
change.
through icy. You came through icy.
I'm just chilling. You said you wanted some vibes,
That's
right?
a vibe.
I
That's
need,
a vibe. You came through icy. Damn, bro. Like I gotta be honest with you. The outfit, fire.
I'm just
Fire.
chilling, bro. You know, a little bit of prep with a little bit of, I don't know, French influence. I am Haitian, so that's the vibe. I don't know if my camera is like clean
Nah,
enough.
you good, bro. Like you
Good.
good. I let the head out. Mind you, everybody, this is very expensive. I don't let the ball was only be shown for special occasion. That shows you how deep the bond between me and Joekenneth goes. I
Nah,
mean,
you looking good,
seriously,
brother.
like it's a special occasion. I put a suit on and everything.
You've been doing the shirtless vibe. I've been digging it, man.
Inside, man. Like I want to be as beautiful as I feel. You know what I mean? I'm about to start wearing this outside, but I feel like if I'm inside, I'm wearing whatever the hell I want. So
Nah.
got a little shirtless, and this is a suit. You know what I mean? Got the
Oh, that's
bonnet.
what that brand is from, I think Denmark or
Yeah,
something.
bonnet suits. Josh put me on
Yeah.
a couple of years, like maybe a year ago. Like super fire fits, like a little bit utilitarian versus like dress up. I really love it. You can kind of flip whichever way you want. Side
Word.
note. But yeah, man, you're fresh. I love the look. But just to introduce you officially, welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys for joining again. We are recording. We are live. Well, not live, but we are recording. This is my good dear friend Joekenneth, poet, writer, obviously fashion icon, style icon. He's been the voice behind many of our, I would say, many of our seminal moments. You know, speaking from street etiquette's perspective, and Josh and Trav, like from Sewn from the Soul to Black Ivy to your own works. I don't know. You're just the voice behind the culture in a way. You kind of put our emotions into prose, and you settle us and speak for us at the same time. So that's how I would introduce you.
That's a heavy introduction. I mean, oof. Thank you, brother. I'm honored. Like those are real words, and it's been years of building this friendship and this bond, and you as a person are just phenomenal. Um, you're just a cuteness to human emotion, design, fashion, photography. Like it's two goats in a room, right?
There you go. Two goats. We all eat grass.
We're just bad.
Exactly. But yeah, seriously, I mean, I just wanted to get you, obviously I'm going through all my friends, but I mean, I just wanted to get you because I really believe like in such a moment that we've all been going through, it's just good to get the people who really are connected on, just, before anything, just how you doing, how you been feeling, how's life?
Oh man, I'm always gonna give you the real. I've been feeling a lot of things, and I think that's just the nature of this year. This year has a, a clear heaviness to it.
Mhm.
You know, just in terms of like recent news, like I had to put my dog down like 2 weeks ago, and that's a very foreign grief for me, because I didn't grow up having pets. This is not something that like I had in my life. So I had my dog for 4 years, like grew in love with this dog. And it literally just felt like, a piece of straw that broke the camel's back. Like I started to feel everything. Like that was a punctuation on this year. And it's been hard to navigate this new norm without like having your animal in your house with you for me, because just having my dog was just a big part of my life. And, pet lovers or pet owners would understand, but I didn't understand that like 4 years ago. I was one of those person that's like, yo, what do you mean? Like you're going crazy because your dog died or whatever. But um, just navigating that and just trying to push forward. Like I said, it just felt like a punctuation of just a culmination of all the things that have gone on this year. If I'm not dealing with my own stuff, like, with anxieties or stuff like that, it's just having to deal with people who I love, losing loved ones due to this, virus or what have you. So, how am I feeling? I'm on my way back to just feeling a little better. I think it's important to push forward, to give space to emotions that need space at the moment, but like also to move forward because life is for the living,
Mm.
and it's always time to live. So yeah, I'm in a better space I was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I reached out to you, and I mean, it was obvious. Obviously, like you say that it's an animal, it's a pet, but it's a part of the family. Like, just even, I never had a pet growing up either, but just, having been around a few pets, in the past like year and a half, they really become a part of the family. They have emotions, you get to realize, they're obviously living creatures as well. They have emotions. They clearly go through a whole spectrum of that sort of like emotionality that people tend not to give them. So I can fully understand that and understand how that could be like, just as you said, the tipping over point for a lot of other emotions, because I know you've been really feeling it. And I think that's the part of you that I always go back to. And it's always so beautiful to me because you're someone who's willing to be vulnerable, but also be truthful. There's this idea, particularly within manhood, where it's like, I think we're just getting there within the past couple of years, but it's like, it's okay to bear the fullness of yourself, the weaknesses, the moments of doubt, the moments of vulnerability, the moments of not knowing, and the moments of sadness. And I feel like you've, in your work and just, in your friendship, is you've allowed not just myself, but others to kind of like lean on your strength in a way. It's something about other people seeing someone else who they know to be strong, willing to take their emotions to a place of vulnerability that makes them realize that they could be as vulnerable and succeed and move forward as well. And I think that's something that you've always given. You've always had that sort of like 100% to you, if that makes any sense, for lack of a better term. There was 100% like realness to you that was never like in doubt.
Yeah.
And I've always just like, again, it shines in your work, it shines in your words. If anybody reads anything that you've ever written, any one of your books, from Tales of, Trouble Romantic to now, you're like, it's obvious.
Yeah.
And, but I mean, I'm glad that you're saying that you're moving forward. I just wanted to acknowledge that, but I'm glad that you're saying that you're moving forward, trying to find some, I don't know, momentum to keep going.
Yeah.
Some momentum to keep going in the future. And I've been trying to do the same, been trying to figure out, like, find some things that you could look forward to, and focus on those things, while living in the present, but having some things to look forward to. I think we all need a measure of hope. And this year has been a test to that level of like hope and hopefulness and optimism.
Yeah, for sure. It's key. You can't bask in an emotion, you can't let a feeling define you. We're just more dynamic than that as human beings. So it's always about what's the narrative, what's the story I want to tell beyond a part of that story. So yeah, looking forward in general, like forward always. So
have you been creating anything, like anything you've written, anything that you've over this time, or has it been like a moment of reflection?
It's been a heavy moment of reflection. I've always penned things on my notes app. So I have these stems of like pieces, especially as we were going through quarantine and lockdown, just like thoughts that I wanted to just get on paper. I think for writers, we cause ourselves to hit roadblocks if we feel like we have to edit as we write. And, a good friend of mine told me, just put it down on paper and edit it later. So I have all these things that I've just been writing, these stems of like incomplete thoughts that I want to finish, which were just difficult to finish in the moment to complete that thought. But that's where I am. It's literally just scraps of things. I had told you before we got on this call, like I finished one piece that I'm like incredibly proud of, and I feel like I was able to really just pour myself into it. But other than like my personal work, I've like creatively, I've been lending a lot of my mind and talents to just like my job, and this is like the first time I ever had like a real creative job. And there's one thing to be a creative person, it's another thing to be a creative professional, and I'm learning that difference because there is a demand for you to like constantly be thinking, and that's something I wasn't used to. So I'm growing into that role as well. So being creative in that way, just in my professional work, has been a challenge, but a good one, because it's like, okay, I'm pushing myself to do something that I've never done before. I'm sharpening skills. I'm honing my skills, and it's like it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to be challenged.
I'm glad that you're taking it that way, because I feel like that's the tension I have, and I've been having for like the past few years. When you have to have like creativity on demand, and when you're working with other people who aren't creatives, and they don't understand that there's usually like sometimes you get it immediately, sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's a moment, but then other times it's like I did 5 iterations and I hate all of them. Like they're not good enough. And there's something about like needing to communicate that this isn't good enough to someone else, or like this isn't creatively as good as it could be if I had more time. But there was something like about balancing deadlines and creativity and like dealing with this whole notion of like, done is better than perfect, because I'm definitely a perfectionist when it comes to certain things. And I've had to learn over the past couple of years. I think that if anything, having like a corporate creative job has taught me is like, sometimes it's getting some shit out there is better than getting the perfect thing out there, because ultimately you just need feedback, you need iteration, you need the ability to get to the next the next iteration in that sense, although the next iteration may be the last iteration. But sometimes I've learned to be able to let go, sometimes with some of the work, particularly when it's from a business context, because it's like, I don't want no shit to leave my desk, my brain, my laptop, my computer, but sometimes, you don't let shit go, but you let incomplete projects go sometimes, not from a execution standpoint, but if I had a couple more days, I would have put some more thoughts. Maybe I would have reworked the whole entire thing. Maybe I would have rewritten the whole damn thing, or maybe I would have, redesigned the whole entire thing. And sometimes you just don't get that opportunity. And I think that's something about the corporate world, which I've learned, and I've had to I've had difficulty navigating, but I've accepted it, because otherwise then I do what I always do. Like, you work 18 hours trying to get one thing that should have been done in 8 hours done, because you just have this need to make it better.
Better, yeah.
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 Don't fall on that trap.
You're the OG of like the corporate creative. Like, as I think about it and talk to you now, like you've poured your heart and soul into that, and many people don't see that though. Like, you see SHEREN and what you've been able to do, but it's like, this man, you've been doing it for corporate America for so long. It's like, of course he's like super nice with it. And when you bring those sensibilities to your own work, it's just, it shines through. So yeah, I don't know why I just had this like revelation, like this aha moment, but like, yeah, you've been doing it.
Yeah, man. Sometimes I don't think about it either, because I genuinely, I'm not even joking when I say this straight face, I hate this shit. I'm like, I mean, straight face, no, like, lie about it. Like, I tell everybody, anyone that knows me know I hate this shit. Like, it is what it is. Like, maybe it's my particular position or where I'm working or what it is. It's like, I'm a person who believes and needs freedom. I need like moments to get away. I need times to recharge and release and just like not think about shit. And this job is just like, it's been a creeping erosion of like freedom. It's a creeping erosion of, for me, again, this is not everybody's job, I'm sure, but it's a creeping erosion of humanity. I remember meeting someone at a certain company I won't mention, but like, I remember she was in like some global director position, and she was a great person. But I remember her being like, I make my own schedule. And this is when I was like in a lower level, probably a couple of ranks lower than what I'm at. And I was like, wow, you make your own schedule, it's amazing, it's great. She's like, yeah, but what you fail to realize is that the fact that you're never off. It's like you're always on call. Yeah, you make your own schedule, but that means you're making it at 5 a.m., you're making it at 2 a.m., you're making it at 11 p.m. on Sunday night. Like, nobody cares about how much time it takes for you to do your job. They just want the work done. This is how it works. Here's a deadline. Okay, this is probably gonna take like blah, blah, blah hours. I don't care. Here's your deadline. This is when the client needs it. So whatever you need to work backwards to do to get it done at that time is what needs to be done. And that's what I guess I always struggle with. It's like, how do you do your best in someone's arbitrary timeline when your best may take double the time?
Yeah.
You have to accept that this won't be your best, or you have to do double the time and work more of the hours. So it's a thing that doesn't fit with my sensibilities. Not to mention, I need things that connect with people. I need things that touch people, like these sort of like digital media sort of thing, this sort of like creating digital goods that no one ever touches, feels, or connects with. Particularly what I make is it's just like, it's websites and mobile apps and stuff like that. So there is literally no one that's ever gonna be like, yo, that website that you built 2 years ago that's now been redesigned, that was fire. Like, there's no museum of like past websites that somebody did, or not that it's about credit, but it's about having a sort of resonance or touching people. Like, you want the things that you do, and to at least me, I want the things that I do in life to not be transient, for them not to be just like ephemeral. I want them to be things that could like withstand the test of time, to be a book, to be a good, a product, something that you can give, share, talk about, and go back to. There's something about that feels timeless. These digital things, like, it's just a new code, it's a new button, it's a new, it's an idea that's here that someone else is going to iterate on. It's going to be an idea that's gone. There's nothing that stands, which is, I guess, a good thing. So you're always updating your resume in a sense, but I don't like that it leaves you with no legacy.
Yeah.
Your art, poems, writings, they have a legacy to them. They can be digitized at any point in time, but they touch people. People go back to them. People remember it. It becomes a part of their lives. A website doesn't become a part of somebody's life.
Yeah. No, that's true, because our lives are the summation of experiences with other people, like the experiences that we have on our own. So it's like, if I can add an experience to someone's life, like, that's indelible ink.
Mhm.
I'm a part of your life and you're a part of mine. And I think that's what makes the human experience so beautiful. Like the fact that we share experiences create the lives that we live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you've been sharing those experiences. I saw the rapping paper, wrapping up rap. Are you not? Hold on. I should actually. Are you about to be a rapper? Because are you about to be a rapper? Are you about to do some rap stuff? Is there a project in the back?
Hold on. Let me get your honest opinion. I mean, this whole conversation is based on honesty. What did you think about that rap?
I
Like,
thought it was good. It wasn't your best, but I thought it was good.
Okay.
Like this, I know you can do better. I know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That shit was not trash. Period. Like that was good, and I know
Word.
you got greatness in you. So like that's why I asked. Are you going? Is this? It was good enough for me to be like, you got more coming, because it felt like that. It felt
Okay,
like
no, I find it interesting because and it's funny. Our homie Josh says this all the time. Like, the internet is a highlight reel, and it's really not a place for criticism. Like, so everybody would just gas it up. So I'm like, yo, these comments, everyone's showing love. You get used to that, but like, do you guys really like think I could rap?
I think you have.
We're like, yo, people.
You got bars and you have presence. All you gotta do is get better at writing, like get better at more bars. That's all you gotta do. Get the structure of the story, just like you'd be writing a poem or a book. And that's an album. That's like, why not? I didn't watch that and was like, yeah, this is trash. I'm like, I'm just being real. Like I felt that it was something there. Like you were saying stuff. Like the beat was trash and it wasn't that great to flow on, but it's like you were saying things.
Word.
You had a presence to you. Like if you keep doing that with a beat that you like and that really you can flow with, that could be something. I'm just being real. Like that could be something.
Nah,
I wouldn't waste your time if I didn't think so. I'm not here for compliments. I'm here for honesty.
Yeah, for sure. Nah, I love rap. I love rhythm and the ability to tell words in a cool melodic rhythmic way. Rapping is kind of difficult. Like I've tried it, like catching the beat, making sure that you're breathing properly and all of those things. I had a great time doing a rapping paper. I'm really proud of it, and I think it's phenomenal. I've worked on another song with a friend that is coming out soon, maybe sometime later this year or next year. So like being in the studio, having that whole experience is like this is cool. It's really another challenge, and I have given thought to like doing an EP, like not necessarily like an album like 12 tracks, but like an EP in the way that I would want to do it. The songs that I would want to make, and something that's vibey, because the goal is always to make something that's good, that's amazing, that people want to run back. So I have thought about it, man. I have. Man, maybe do a little more research, a little more work on my flow, but it's a thought that I've considered more after, given the response of rapping paper.
I feel like that's definitely part of your story. That it just makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, everybody, like, well, I guess everybody doesn't know. Can you give them this is not to show your talent, but it's to show like how much you care about rap. Give them the Jay-Z. Like, they need to understand like that.
Oh, you want me to do that?
Jay-Z. The Jay-Z's dope.
Oh my God, you really took it back. Okay. Oh, let's see. You actually want me to like do my Jay-Z impression, right? Like if I'm talking to, so everybody, this is Cleon Gray. He's just amazing, like artist from New York, right? Yeah. So I was telling him about how I did fronting with Pharrell and how I crafted those bars. So every time your name was brought up, I would act all nonchalant in front of an audience. I was like, you were just another shorty. I put the naughty on, but truth be told, you threw me for a loop. It's Hove. I'm too old to be fronting, but I'm feeling Denzel and acting like you ain't appealing when you are. I can just drop the bars because I crafted those songs at such a particular moment. So shout out to you, Cleon Gray.
That's not even to be funny, but it's just a highlight, yo. You from Brooklyn, bro. Like you around rap, like these bars that you write, they're already to it. All you gotta do is put them to a tempo, but the energy's there. I think people just want, at least some people want words that they connect with. I mean, there's people who literally, I can see you being right in the same realm of like a J. Cole and others. Those are the people that resonate with you. Their work appeals to you and your sensibilities and the work that you do. So that just makes sense. Why not give it a try? I think people would fuck with it. I know I would give it a listen for sure.
Yeah, it would be something like organic to me. Like when you tell your origin story often in like interviews and just talking to people, but like legit, I started my genesis as a writer is because of hip hop and rap. Like at 11 years old, I wrote like I feel like my first rap song, I was looking at Lil Bow Wow and Little Romeo, and it's like, yo, I could do that. I kept telling myself I could do that. So literally my first song that I wrote at 11, it was called Respect Me. And it was literally a diss song to Little Romeo and Lil Bow Wow at the time, saying, yo, I can flow better than y'all. And this was me not even knowing they weren't writing their own rhymes. Like they were, you know, this product that was being put out like to appeal to the masses. So like those raps, those kiddie raps I was writing as I started, you know, growing up, going into like getting into poetry, whether it's Def Jam poetry, Def poetry, going to the Bowery for shows, performing at school as a like in terms of like literary things, was reading the work from Harlem Renaissance writers like Langston Hughes, James Weldon Johnson, Zora Neale Hurston. So literally it goes from rap to this literature of like poetry, which is really the framework of rap when you think about how it goes back and that jazz feeling. So that's how it started. Like I started at rap, went back and, you know, became a poet and started dabbling into rap some more. So I think it would just be a natural progression of my art. It would pay homage to what allowed me to start as a writer.
That makes perfect sense to me. It really does. And the fact that you use those references as well, like just, it's all, we're all influenced in the present from something from the past. And even your life is showing that, like you started from rap, went to poetry, and if anything, you're just going back to the start in a sense. It's like a beautiful circle.
Exactly.
You know, I play this. I hope you do it because I'm gonna listen. It's gonna be worthwhile.
Well, no pressure, but you know,
no pressure. Do you take your time, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good if you do it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for sure.
That's all that matters. So just, you know, keep working at it. I'd love to see that. But as far as you know, just to bring it back to like just life and maybe the day to day, like, you know, is there any sort of maturing moments that you've had over this time? Any sort of maturing as a man during these times?
Maturing moments.
Like any sort of reflections, because I feel like everybody's been stuck inside during this time and they've like really had to come to terms with themselves and probably figure out things that they hadn't seen. Because I think day-to-day life, you know, before all this happened was like, you know, your life is almost its own, not you, but I mean, most people's life is just on like, you know, autopilot. And I feel like a lot of people have like the first time, maybe their whole adulthood, of just being like, hold on, wait, what am I doing? Do I even like that? Do I even like the people that I'm around? Do I like the people I actually live with? It's like you've had to take a step to just realize, take a break to just realize, like, do I want these things? Do I have these things? Am I the person that I wanted to be? Am I the person that I'm trying to become? And I think a lot of people have had to reassess and repivot. You know, I definitely have had to. Have you felt that way at all?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You know, one thing that I have realized about myself, just in a clearer way, I've known this about myself for a while, but just with further clarity, is that I feel things intensely. And that is, as you mentioned at the outset, that is part of how I create my work in terms of the vulnerability and all the feeling. But I feel things intensely to the point where it can be crippling. Like with everything that had gone on in the world, I just felt like it did cripple me in many ways, because I was feeling everything and didn't know what to do with that, didn't know how to translate that in either writing or my communications with like my loved ones. The good part of that is that I leaned into those relationships more, like talking to my dad, talking to my sister, my aunts. Like I'd reach out to people, and I knew those connections, those relationships were important to me, but they became even more important because when you can't move about freely and life isn't the norm that we know it to be, what do you gravitate towards? You gravitate towards the real. You know, this is the reason why we're even having this conversation. Like, what are the things in life that you really can't live without? Water, food, shelter, and like human connection, more than anything. So that part of reflection has helped me just to prioritize those things. I as you can see, I love clothes. I love, you know, getting fly and whatnot, but being home and not being able to like go out and get a fit off, it's like maybe these things don't have as much value as I thought they did. Like material things are, I find it difficult. If I don't need something, then I'm teaching myself that I shouldn't, I probably don't want it either. Not shouldn't want it. You're entitled to have your wants, but I probably don't want it either. So it's like, just being more aware of like my spending.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't need something, I'm gonna be more conscious about how I spend my money and my resources, so that I can not only take care of my family, but be a resource to others who really need it. Like there have been times that I've been able to help people because of just like, you know, being resourceful and not squandering whatever, you know, I have. So that's a mature way that I felt like I've grown, just seeing life for what it is, the experience that it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for sure people have been realizing that, you know, what are the things that we truly need versus the things that we, you know, we wanted or thought that were needs. And for some weird reason, I feel like because I've been saving for so many different things and like paying for books and paying for that, like I've already been on this like, you know, like very austere like way of living. Like this is
Yeah.
water and books. You know, like,
Yeah.
I know somebody else is laughing too, but just water and books. But like I haven't bought anything. Like, I mean, goes back to last year before all this. I haven't bought like anything, like nothing. I bought like a furniture for the place I moved into, and I'm talking about like an IKEA couch, and that was it. You know what I mean? I haven't bought anything. Right. So my mind was already trending into that space. But the fact that you say that now is really going to be interesting when it comes to this like commerce and how people choose to spend. I know a lot of people have been talking about lately, particularly within the Black community or whatever, the brown community, saying, you know, like not more than ever, like our resources, our dollars are a vote. You know, don't shop at a place that wouldn't hire you. Don't, you know, eat at a place that wouldn't treat you, you know, that you wouldn't want to, you know, obviously feel comfortable in. Like these sorts of like ideas of getting back to the community, getting back to self, reinvesting in self, reinvesting in the community, so it could be more of a circular sort of scenario. I think have come back to people's minds. You know, people reconsidering how to become more sustainable, you know, not just with their spending, but also with like the brands, the things that they choose to spend their money on and how those things are created. So hopefully it's long lived. And, you know, and the living of that, new opportunities can be created that are intentional like that. Yeah. But, you know, from a deeper perspective, as you're saying, you know, being a resource to others, being a resource to, you know, obviously yourself and your family.
Yeah.
I just wonder, like, what's that balance still like between the art and the commerce? You know, because maybe this is a bad segue, but it's like, you know, as you said, you're going into a place where you're creating for as a career. You still have the things that you create. Like, how do you yourself balance it? How do you yourself get to a place where it's, you know, fulfilling, but at the same time you're doing work that doesn't seem to be against your like artistic process?
I'm still learning.
You do well though, bro. Like the things that you've done with the colognes and the perfumes and the trips, like it seems genuine, and you show us the process. Like I think it's amazing, just to be honest. It's really well done.
Yeah, I say I'm still learning. Because like when I think about like my day-to-day work, and I guess I'll explain this some more. Like back in April, I went from I was transitioning jobs. I was doing social media for a fashion brand, and then I got this opportunity to become an associate creative director. Wow, that's, you know, cool title. Working creativity at a high level, concepting, all of that for this agency that specializes in luxury hospitality brands. So that happens in April, and it's like I'm thrown into this job, and there's so much work to do in terms of creatively, and it's like that becomes my priority, and my balance literally the scale becomes lopsided, and I don't really, I struggle with finding time to have my own voice creatively in terms of my own work. So like I got my job, and then I have like influencer collaborations that I do, but then I have like the passion projects that are just attached to my soul and things that I really want to say and connect with people in a real meaningful way, that there's so much intentionality. And it's like that for me has suffered the most. It's like I haven't really said anything. That's how I feel. Like Joekenneth hasn't said anything really that speaks to my experience and how it connects with others. And I feel like during the pandemic, I'm processing that, and that will take form in some kind of work. I'm not pressuring myself to respond to what's going on immediately, because I feel like we're all processing it. I don't have the answers. I never will. I will always have commentary on things happening in the world. But yeah, that I'm struggling with that balance, because it's important for me to give space to what I'm feeling, and put that down and document it, whether it's an image or whether it's, you know, writing something down. You know, writing is the vocation for me. So finding ways to express that. So, you know, there's an imbalance. Like I got my day-to-day job. I have like these influencer collaborations, which allow me to be creative. I can't front. They do allow me to be creative, but it's so transient. Like, you know, I collab with this brand for a post, and I'm able to create something that I think is cool and will resonate with people. But when you talk about longevity, that's something that's important. You want to make a mark on the lives of others, so that, you know, they feel compelled to share that with other people, and allows their lives to be enlightened in some kind of way. So I just need more of that. I need more of the real, to be completely honest.
And that takes time, though. You know, I've had to accept that for myself. Like during these moments, it's like I'm a person maybe similar to you. I guess because we both, you know, rewrite.
Yeah.
So it sounds amazing to say, by the way. I never would have accepted that a couple of years ago, or a year ago. But it just takes time to like distill those emotions, those feelings, to something that is worth sharing, in my opinion. That's worth that's not just the same thing everyone else is saying. It's worth actually expressing, formulating, and getting out there and getting the feedback from. I don't think it's wrong. You know, I think you even said something similarly about just taking your time. I think it's for a reason. I think people are very quick these days, given, you know, the sort of like era that we live in, where everything needs to be immediate. And I'm shocked that people can summarize their thoughts and emotions so quickly. It is a talent. Because I'm like, that shit just happened like 2 seconds ago, and you already got your whole, it's like they had it pre-written. I'm like, you just like, some people like literally will give you 500 words on anything so quick. I'm like, that is a skill. That's amazing. And it's not even bad.
Just a quick sidebar. It's not even like, I don't even mean to plug in her book, but shout out to Zadie Smith. Like, it's called Intimations, and this is literally essays that she wrote about the pandemic. Like, I'm like, already? Like, how was this released?
No.
When was it published? Like, the first thing she wrote was back in April. I don't know when this book came out. But I'm like, how do you process at that lightning speed? Is it just an acuity to just like what's going on? Are you just like dialed in like that? But
some people practice and like disciplined, diligent. They just have it like formulated. I'm sure, like, you know, working out, the more you work the muscle, the more easier it is to lift the heavy weight. So maybe, you know, she's been lifting these like 100-pound issues for years and years and years. So when another 150-pound or 200-pound issue comes, she's like, well, it ain't gonna be as light as the ones before, or as the same weight as the ones before. But because I'm accustomed to lifting this heavy ass weight, she just goes in it. Like, I think some people like steal like that. Not to mention this talent. Like, she's an author. So. But that's amazing. That's months. I couldn't have done, like, I may not be talking about this moment for like a year. But I think different people are there for different reasons. Some people are supposed to respond to the moment and give you something quick to get through. And then some people are supposed to be the ones that take everything in totality and then give you the feeling on the other side. So I think it's about just, you know, when you're best fit for the moment. But what you said about having time, that's the thing about when I said before about hating, you know, work in the corporate world, but knowing that's a balance between paying bills, having a space to have all these conversations. And this computer that I'm working on is a computer that I got for work. It's, you know, so it's like I feel like, you know, what I've learned in the past a couple of years of being an adult, as I would say, is I have a stronger awareness about the trade-offs, you know, and I realize like life, it really just, as everyone says, it's so cliche, but it's really all about time. Freedom is, you know, time and light, space and light, you know, like that's luxury, that's freedom, that's everything that I want, but it comes at a price. And I accept that for me to live a certain way, I have to trade off some other things. So you want to work more for yourself, or you're willing to take less until you can, you know, supplement your income with working for yourself. And everyone doesn't get the chance to have exactly what they love and what they're passionate about be exactly what pays their bills. You know, I think it's almost like a very new age, like 2000s concept of like, oh, what I love must be what I do. Because everybody before me, all my cousins, they had side businesses, side hustles. They didn't start the things until they got into their 40s. It was not this like accepting or understanding of like, oh, when I'm in my 20s, I'm going to have my entire life the way I want it. There will be no struggle, or the struggle will be exactly the struggle that I want. And there's going to be no hardship in like fighting and struggling against getting those things that I want. Like, I try not to put myself in that place of realizing that I'm like, this is a moment. This may be a tough moment, but there's gonna be moments after this, you know, hopefully, you know, Lord willing, you know, God willing. And it's just like, hopefully those moments are there that I can do more and have more of me. But I accept that more of me may come in 2 years. It may come in 3 years. This podcast or this show that we're doing, which I have big intentions for, it may not be what I imagined to be for 3 years, just being real. But I just want to do it in a diligent way to get to the point where it's like, let me give you the hours that I can give you now and make this as good as it can be, even knowing that I want something bigger, even right now, and wait to have the resources to do it later. But if I'm diligent about it now, then maybe I get to that Zadie Smith level of being able to do it, something great in 6 months. And that's how I'm trying to like school my mind into thinking like, I may not have as much time as I want, but if I have an hour or 2 hours, make that 2 hours the most effective it can be for me and get as much out of it as possible. So if I know I need a little like, this whole show is like it's like a dopamine rush for me. Damn, writing takes so long. Putting together these books takes years, a year for me, right? So it's like me knowing that, what can I get? What little quicker dopamine rush can I get? I can do these every week, couple times a week if I have the time to do it. Like, that's my quick dopamine rush. So that was like my thing of like, how do I scratch that need to create that itch that's never gonna go away, that creates sadness if I don't do it in these short of like spans of time? Because like I always think about photography because I'm around so many great, phenomenal photographers. And it's like any day that you guys want, you can go pick up your camera any moment and just take a photo of something on your phone, your iPhone. Like they get that instant feedback so quickly. They can scratch that itch quick. Like if you're a chef, you can create a meal within an afternoon. But when you're a writer and you're a slow writer and you're a slow thinker sometimes to get those emotions, you could be writing one thing for a month. Mm-hmm. And you may have to, if it's a part of a larger package, it may take you, 6 months, 7 months, a year to put the whole thing together to be able to release it. And just that waiting and wanting to share and connect, it's something I couldn't deal with. I couldn't deal with it.
It's heavy, especially just in the context of how we interact. Like this, social media is just this big Venn diagram, like of just comparing different, parts of our lives. And it's like, no, don't let the realities of other people rush you. Like your reality, your experience is unique to you. Mm-hmm. And I've just been trying to lean into that more. It's like, it's gonna take time, and time is on our side. It's what we do with it. Time is on our side. Like no one is, and we don't have writing contracts, recording deals. It's like, no, we can evolve at the pace that is best for us. That's like optimum for us. So yeah, man, I'm down. Like I might not have another book for another 3-4 years, or maybe it'll come earlier, but I'm not stressing it. I know that my intention is to put something out into the world, and I'm gonna work toward that intention.
Yeah, same. There may not be another one for like 2 years, if not more, because there's gonna be a lot more traveling in the next one.
Absolutely.
But it's just really it's a good point though, because it's like, how do you negotiate that though? Like, what is your day-to-day process? Like, what is that practice like? Is there something, are you writing every day? Are you writing once a week? Are you writing whenever you get an emotion, which can be months apart? Or it seems like that maybe how you do it, more of like when the intention is correct and the emotions align, you do it. Is that right?
Yeah, that is right. I need to be moved to write. Mm-hmm. I've spoken to other writers like, no, you need to sit down and write. Just make it a habit to write. And I understand that. That's like going to the gym every day. And it's like, all right, I'm gonna make it a habit to work on this muscle. But if I feel like, if I don't feel full, if I feel like there's nothing there, like I can't draw from an empty well. Mm-hmm. So I'm going back to something that has proven to work for me. I'm just reading more. Like I have the desire to write, and it's like, I have this feeling, this want to put things onto paper, because I know there are things in me that are just waiting to be stimulated and put down on paper. So I bought literally just a bunch of books, and I've been reading, and I plan to get through these 3-4 books that I have now on my table to stimulate something, to hear the story of others, to connect with them through the pages they've written, through the truths that they have expressed, in order to find what's waiting to happen in me, what's latent in me. So I think I'm gonna be good. I have high hopes for myself in that regard. Like I'm optimistic in that way. It's like I love to read. It's not a chore, and it's not something done just so I can become a better writer. it's a way that I connect with the writers. It's literally sitting down and having a conversation with someone without them being physically present.
It has
That's
this
how
sort
I see it. Yeah.
of transportation sort of quality to it.
Yeah.
Loved about it. I'm actually getting in a place when you talked about time, like it's like crazy when I tell people this, but like over the past year, trying to get my stuff done and this crazy job work, it's like I probably read 2 books, two. Like that's a blessing that I'm hoping to have in the future, is like having more time to just like do things that don't have, a arbitrary result tied to them. Like, like just, I want to read a book. I don't need to read it to get to I'm not gonna do a book report on it. I'm not trying to read it to get out of it. Like, I just want to get back to those moments of like doing things because they feel good without like having to always like put a sort of like valuation on them. Like you said, you love reading, you get that done. Like I would love to have the time to just to do a little more. And maybe I do have the time, but it's like I want to really, I don't like starting and stopping. Like if I'm gonna read something, I want to have like, I need the next 6 hours, because if I get into a groove, I don't want to be interrupted. Like everything shuts off. Like, so, maybe this whole conversation is just about time.
Yeah. And the compromise, like I have 30 minutes. How am I going to spend that 30 minutes? I've been really editing my mornings more than ever before because we're all guilty of it. I feel like our entire generation, you wake up, you go to your phone, social media, news or whatever. It's like, I've been just saying, yo, Kenny, take a deep breath, like literally wake up, maybe stare at the ceiling for a little bit, but just, read something or center myself because, I get into that habit of just, just feeding into the junk food of the day, but like carving out time sometimes. And when I say compromise, maybe that's waking up early, or maybe that's going to bed earlier to create those moments of time that are just for you to do the things that you want to do. Like you have a goal, you're working towards it, and make sure that you're actively working toward it. So it's like, I'm just in the habit of making less excuses for myself. Like I don't have enough time. It just doesn't seem like a valid excuse for me anymore. It's like, let me make more time.
Damn, that's a good way to look at it too. I wish I could agree with you because I definitely don't have enough time.
You are incredible.
I'm going to bed waking up at 6. Like, damn, I need more time. But
yeah.
if you don't sleep, I'm not even lying.
Yeah.
I really don't. Not even on the weekends. But if you can, that's a good way to look at it though. Like try to create more time, try to create more purpose in that time, and if anything, get to the place where you're using your time more wisely. And that's something that's something I have been holding myself to. Like, okay, if you have only 2 hours to do something, make sure that you get the full 2 hours out of it. Don't be distracted. Don't be doing anything else other than the thing that you want to do. So if you're gonna like write, read, or whatever, like make sure that that's the time that you make sure that that's what you spend the time on. You're not doing 7 other things at once. Because I'm always like multitasking, whether I realize it or not. And then we're like, shit, I lost the hour. So that's it. So I guess really just about balanced time, trying to be more efficient, but still, like sometimes I'm just like I just want to take a break. Sometimes I just want to not do anything with no end result. Sometimes I want to be at your house eating meals with you and Sarah because I'm like you making some like chef dishes that you be sharing in these IG stores. I'm like, yo, I mean, can I get some French toast too?
Yeah, absolutely, let's do it. Come through, man.
But no, I'm well fed. I can't even lie. But yeah, man, it seems like you guys have been building something beautiful over there in this time. Hopefully that's the case. It seems like y'all have been connecting stronger from what I could tell. I mean, you guys have always been solid, but it seems like it's a beautiful moment. Although I know like losing a little loved one was tough, but I seem to be building strong over there still.
Yeah, for sure. More than ever before. Like, this time has challenged a lot of relationships. Some people are not even in relationships anymore because they spend more time. But Sarah and I have been rocking together for a minute now. I met Sarah 10 years ago, and we're approaching 6 years of marriage in November. And
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
You were the first, bro. You're the first in the group to get married.
I was the first.
And the youngest probably at the time.
The youngest, I got married very young. In retrospect, that was a cause for just a lot of tension in the beginning. Mm-hmm. But us growing together, us maturing together, it's like you love the person, you care for the person, and you just want deeper connections. Like that's me. I just want to be deeper connected to my partner. I want to be deeper connected to her and find ways to make her life better, to enrich our lives together. So like that's just the real from it. And the conversations that we've been able to have because we're home together have been great, whether we're challenging our thoughts or we're motivating each other to do something that we said we individually we were going to do, and we need a little nudge to do it. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful to have that consistency. And I've said this about Sarah many times before, like in a world of variables, she's the most consistent thing, like present. And I just being aware of that, I don't want to take it for granted. And I'm constantly thinking about her contributions to my life and, our family, and just want to always honor that space. So if anything, that is a quarantine blessing, just being able to connect with her more. Yeah, and that's just the real, bro. It's not like
That I want to hear, man.
it's not that fairy tale story. It's not for the cameras. It's just you have time to think and reflect, and you want to make sure that you're valuing people in a way that is true. Like think about the person, think about their impact on your life, ruminate on these things, and show it in your actions that you care about them. And that's what this moment has allowed me to do. It's like this person is not irreplaceable. I mean, this person is not replaceable. So yeah, it's been great in that way.
Like I've really seen that, whether you realize it or not. You can kind of tell when people are going through stronger bonds, particularly with their partners. And there's always been something about you two that, whether you realize it or not, you guys have been like the guiding light for like the larger friendship circle. Because again, you were the first ones to get married. You were the first one to share the things that you shared in your book about your relationships and your marriage. So it showed the process of growing, the process of iterating on love, and knowing that there may be, moments of hardship, but there's always a coming together, and it's a togetherness that you guys have always embodied in me, whether silently or otherwise. But I've always looked to for strength, because I don't know, there's something about that intentionality of knowing like you're with a creative partner. You're with the partner, you are a creative, but you have someone, like you said, someone that you said is so, consistent. And I think there's something about art when it's so many variables, there's so much doubt, there's so many things changing constantly within yourself, your own internal world, to have someone else who's just that rock, that solid, it gives you just like a light in the dark. It gives you something steady in the hurricane to hold on to. And, like you said, sometimes like those people need to be, just told like, thank you, like just thank you, thank Adrian for like,
Yeah.
like, just thank you for being there. Thank you for holding us down. And thank you for like, just being there. Like even this Natal article that came out recently, they really got the full vision of it. And when they said like, it's not the destination, it's the women that get you there. Like that's my entire life wrapped up in a sentence.
Yeah.
For good and for bad. But it's like, for me, it's always been the women that have gotten me there, from my mother on down, good and bad again. Like, and I just feel blessed to be in a position where I'm at right now with a partner who's just, as constant can be. And it's just about me becoming better and me becoming stronger as a man, as a person, as a partner, to show both of our strengths, and vice versa. And again, like you two have always been that to me, and, Josh and Mektis and Dre and, and Lindsay and Trav and Cynthia. It's like, those relationships are crazy, because it's like, I'm like a man, but like the majority of my friends are married. And it's like, this, as like a 32-year-old, like to be able to say that, it's such a humbling and beautiful thing to know. Like it all can happen. You can have your art and you can have your love. And it shows that anything is kind of possible in a weird way. Hopefully I'm not getting too sentimental with y'all, but it's like, I've always believed it's either or for a very long time. I've always believed it's either or. You can only have great art and a great love like that if it comes at an expense of not having a true love as a partner, because it's not gonna balance. And there's always gonna be tension, but it's not gonna ever like balance into like something that's long that has longevity. And this is the first time I feel like there may be longevity.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, and we're all just like happy about it to see you at this place in your life, the clarity, the joy, the happiness, man. It's like you root for your friends, and you wanna feed off that energy. You wanna contribute to it. So like reading SHEREN and just reading these experiences, like, wow, like, man, I'm so happy and I'm proud of Cleon. Like, more than anything, there's really nothing else to be said. I'm hyped. I'm geeked for you, bro.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's been a road, but trust me, like from our conversations in the past and those moments, like you read the book, those moments when we had those conversations, whether it was about past relationships, celibacy, and me being like,
yeah, I remember us talking about that. That's what you might have to do.
And I was like, nah, bro. But then it happened. That sort of cleansing was necessary to think about self and think about, what does the next step look like, and what are the things that you have to do to get to that next level of thinking, that next level of like emotionality, that next level of accountability, that next level of manhood and adulthood. And all that was a part of it, whether I realized it or not, or whether I was willing to accept it or not. Things happened the way they needed to happen to get me where I am right now, and it's a beautiful place. And hopefully there's more beauty to come. Trust me, it's been difficult, and this whole entire thing has not been sweet. There's been moments of like strong conflict and doubt but we're here, and that's all that matters. And once you're here, there's always a better place to get to. And that's how I see it, particularly if you're willing to do the work.
Yeah, very well said.
What's meaning the world to you right now? Like, what's meaning the world to you right now? You probably already mentioned it, but like, is there anything that you're looking forward to? I feel like that's important right now. That need for hope.
Yeah, no, I've been thinking about it. Just reflection on my blessings. We can complain about a lot of things, and admittedly, there's a lot of terrible things going on in the world in so many different aspects, whether it's the environment, racial injustice, etc. But I've been just trying to focus on the fact that I have everything I need in terms of my blessings, and I mentioned it before. I have the ability to help others, and that's not always a dollar amount. Sometimes that's just availability. Like, am I in a place to offer something to someone, whether it's a conversation or time? And the answer is yes. And I take value in that, and I'm leaning into that. It means the world to me that I'm living. I still have the desire to live and to help other people have good experiences in their lives. I think that means a lot for someone who has struggle, and I think it's just common nowadays. It's not an anomaly. Who's struggle with like bouts of depression and just like not feeling my best. Like to persevere and to be here and to want to help others, it means a lot to me still, even in the tough moments. The bounce back, and that elasticity about myself makes me proud. This is a long time coming. Like, I wasn't like this 6 years ago. Like, it has not always been easy. So the fact that I have this resilience that I've built up over the year means a lot to me, because I'm useful to myself and to others. Yeah, that's just the real.
I just want to let that sit for a second, because I think I felt similarly last year, 2 years ago, when I was like when the book was coming together. It was just like I kept saying to myself, like, what do I have of value? What that I could give to others, that I could be of value, of service, of like, what did I want my life to be about? What did I want it to be? The story. I didn't want to be like just a fly-ass motherfucker, like you said, just these vain, vapid things with like the perfectly bald head and the shiny dome. But I wanted to be someone who like impacted people, who said something that was real, who left something that people could really feel. And I feel like that's just an inspiration coming from you, to be honest with you. Like, seeing how transparent you were about your struggle with with depression, and losing your mother tragically, obviously. And us working on that project together, like that was, and the conversations that we had, like, you were instrumental in me having this sort of like awakening as like a spirit, as a soul, as a human being. And again, I'm still not the most religious person, but like there was something about your faith that I know you leaned on, and me leaning on you in those moments where I realized I wasn't. Not I realized that I was still leaning on your faith, because you were leaning on that as well. And I've always felt that was like the most powerful thing about you, was like your willingness in such a climate and time to still be a faith-based individual, You know, even, you know, speaking of Bianca a couple of episodes ago, or a couple of weeks ago, I guess a week ago, and she was talking about in the moment that we're in, what we need are like spiritual solutions. And I've always felt like you've been someone seeking and implementing spiritual solutions in your life to solve things, to get through things. You know, it was never just you. It was your faith and your belief in God that got you through a lot. And I feel like that's something that, you know, whether people want to be religious or not, I think there's a power in realizing that it's not just you. And there's other things that you can lean on, and other people that you can lean on, whether you choose to believe in what they believe or whether you choose to at least acknowledge that they believe in something that helps you get through it as well is powerful.
Yeah, yeah. It's real. Thank you for like even mentioning that, because I've had it in my bio for forever. I always say creative by way of the creator. And that's that's the foundation of who I am. I understand I can go outside, I can look at the trees, I can observe creation and just know that there's something bigger than us that has allowed us to have this beautiful planet that we can tend to, that is, best suited for human life. And tapping into that. I know religion looks different for all people, and it can get murky talking about it, but like, let's talk about the fact that there is a creator and a God who cares about us. And in trying moments like this, it can be very difficult, because it's like, okay, where is the parent? Where is God? Where is that source of strength in our lives? But it's present, and it's leaning into that, understanding that there is a great force behind everything that we do, that can empower us, that can keep us sane in moments where there is a lot of struggle and tragedy. And that's been something in my life, and feeling that force. And it's not even like an otherworldly feeling, but like, I guess, yeah, more spiritual than anything, feeling a sense of calmness in the storm. Like, that's not something that you just tap into by just like closing your eyes and like, getting in tune to yourself. I firmly believe it's from a higher power who cares about us and has the best intentions for our future. We're in a time, an unprecedented time, that, from what I believe, is literally the precursor to another unprecedented, unbelievable time of like great peace and an ability to really have the human experience the way that it was intended. And of course, that, I feel like that's a bigger conversation to talk about something like that.
What if you want to? If you want to touch on that, touch on it.
Yeah,
We're here.
That's huge. Like, for people who believe in the creation account, we all come from common forefathers, and something went awry when they decided not to follow the instructions of their heavenly Father, their creator, and listen to someone else who clearly had the wrong intentions. And this idea of just guiding ourselves, making decisions completely ourselves, outside of taking into account godly standards and morals, have shown us throughout the thousands of years of human history. Some people may argue that, but the thousands of years of human history, that we can't do it alone. This is the result if we do it alone. People encroaching upon the rights of other people, destroying a lot of parts of the earth by, like, whether you're drilling for oil or building plants that cause destruction to the environment. Like, we are a big part of the problem. Greed, avarice. Why does Jeff Bezos like almost have $1 trillion, and literally, if he uses probably 1% of his money, can provide for thousands of people in a different part of the country? Like, it's just this imbalance. And I believe, and this is my choice to believe this, that it will not continue on forever like this. When we experience good times in life, we revel in it and we love it. And that's a feeling that should not be fleeting. That should be constant. And I do think it's part of God's purpose to help us see that we shouldn't rely completely on ourselves, to help us see that He is providing a solution. He is shining his light on people who reflect his light, and that there will be a time where it's just like, just goodness right here on earth. Like, a lot of people point to heaven, but from just what I've learned in the scriptures, like it's going to happen right here too, right here on earth. This is the place best suited for human life. So having that in mind keeps me grounded. It's not in a way that is without struggle. And I think this conversation shows that, like, my faith is not always on 1,000. I feel everything that's going on, but I firmly believe that it is temporary. You know, the solution is not always in who you put in power, because that's mercurial. That can literally change every 4 years. And for people in other parts of the country, like that can probably change overnight. So there needs to be something that's lasting. And as we talk about legacy and things and like preservation, we need things that last. We need good things to last. And, you know, an ideal situation would be that it lasts permanently. And that's my hope, that the good things will last forever.
Sounds just beautiful, bro. Like, again, I think everybody needs to just listen back to what you said. I don't want to get into a conversation of, like, you know, a religious debate. That's not the purpose of it. The purpose of conversations are to indicate where someone is coming from, to say, these are the things that make you who you are. These are the things that we are longing for. These are the things that we believe in, period. And I want this to always be a space where that's open and honest, because you are speaking to a large group of people. They understand what you're saying. They may not know or have the vocabulary to realize that what they are feeling or what they're hoping for is actually a religious and spiritual based thing, but you're making that association. But I think fundamentally, irrespective of what anyone believes, whatever religion they may subscribe to, whatever non-religion they may assume that they subscribe to, because to a degree, I notice people may debate this, like, believing in science is a belief. It's a faith in other people still. It's a faith in books that other people wrote. Maybe someone say, those things could be replicated. They could be redone. They could be, theory could be disproven, et cetera, et cetera. It's a practice. I got it. Great. Everything takes a belief. Okay, space exists. Great. Have I ever been there? No. But I believe it exists. So everything is taking a leap. It's about what you choose to believe. And if you believe in what you believe, I don't want to have a debate about that, because what you're saying is what I think most people would want from the earth, would want from life, would want from, you know, humanity, would want from an existence on this plane. Mm-hmm. Health, peace, health, peace, happiness, togetherness, a oneness, an appeal to life-oriented, a life-centric sort of approach, to build up good more than build up bad, to have some moral code that says, let's do the right thing and not the bad thing. Let's think about others and not just ourselves.
Yes.
If those things are wrong, then you know what? I don't want to be right. Call me whatever you want.
Exactly.
Like, but seriously, like, if those things are wrong fundamentally, and I understand everything doesn't have like just great shining goodness to it. There's always a place for someone to attack and criticize. But if those fundamental things of getting better, being better, and coming together as humanity, and doing for others, and trying to take a little bit less so we all can have a little bit more. If those things are fundamentally wrong, then I don't want to be right. I think those are what we lack. That's what we're lacking. And I get it. Things are more complex. Things are, built on top of other things. And if you take off one thing, the whole Jenga board falls, or the puzzle pieces get mixed up, and no thing is that simple. But it's as simple as this. There's multiple individuals that have over $100 billion, whether it's in asset stocks and in fictitious money. They have that, hundreds of billions, if not trillions, exist with these small groups of people. And they're not incentivized to have their wealth accumulation be built on other people accruing wealth. It's like this consolidation that's very individualistic, which is beautiful, but it's very individualistic and doesn't create wealth for others. I think there's something fundamentally wrong with these platforms, that your wealth comes at the expense of others. And I know people don't see it that way, but it is. Everything that once one consumes is at the detriment of someone else. There's not infinite amount of water. There's not infinite amount of anything. Everything comes at a price. And if we're not thinking about more sustainable, life-oriented solutions, we're going to ultimately lose. Like, the world that we see now is a world made and created from overconsumption. It's a world made and created from selfishness. It's a world made and created from, a consolidation of power, consolidation of resources, consolidation of energy, consolidation of thought, consolidation of everything. And There has to be a better way. And if there's not, then, we're not headed to any place that's better. That's why we're so easily conned. I think I read something recently from someone that said it. Someone who's not greedy can't be conned.
Someone who's not greedy
can't be conned.
Wow.
They're not looking for that. They're not looking for the extra dollar. They're not looking for so you're going to give me $2 and I'm only going to give you $1 and I get an extra $1? Sure. You can't be kind if you're not looking for more. You're not constantly looking
Yeah.
to take over from someone else. And I get it, like the world, you know, these people that we talk about that have a lot, because I'm not like, I don't want to begrudge people for their success, begrudge people for having great ideas. But I would like to have a conversation about the incentive, like the incentive packages that people have to create wealth. Because if money's your mission, then that's not a good mission. Because
Yeah.
money doesn't mean anything. Things need to be centered around people. Provide a good that helps others. If helping others gets you money and because you provided that value, that good, great. You should have an exponential amount of wealth, but you should be making 1,000,000 times or 1,000,000,000 times your other employee. Does that make sense? But and the employees of your company, the people beneath you are those that, you know, that make you as strong as what you are. Like you had an idea, but you didn't have the world. And it seems like people feel like they're like entitled to the world.
Yeah.
It should never end. They should never get back. They should never get to a place of like, I have enough. Maybe my legacy could be what I do for others. I feel like some people aren't geared to think about at any point in time, how do I make this not about me and make it about, you know, the we? You know, like some beautiful woman, I forgot her name in this moment, but she said at one of these festivals, like, if your dream only involves you, then your dream isn't big enough.
Yes, I've heard that. Oh, someone said,
I wish I could credit her. We should look it up, but I know she's like,
we should look it up.
A great black woman said it. But yeah, like, but it's real though. It's like, I think we need to get life and the world on those sorts of templates, those sorts of like thinking patterns. Like, what can I do that's going to elevate the we? What can I do to make sure that we all are eating? What can I do to make sure that, you know, it's not just me who seems to be winning? Because there's nothing good about leadership in that sort of like the structure of your leadership. You're the only one. Josh said something crazy to me in a conversation that we had. It may have been the last conversation that we had. Yeah, it was our first conversation on the show. He said, you know, I don't want followers, I want leaders.
Woo.
You know, it's just leaders with leaders. There's no such thing as a follower. We're all human beings. Like, we just do different things. Yeah. I want it to be a line of people, and we're just all called to do different things when it's our time. But it's not like there's a single file line and someone's like 7 billion in line and I'm number one in front. It's those sorts of like thinking. Yeah. It's that sort of thinking, I guess, it's in these negative spaces, and that failure to realize there is something above us. We all are ephemeral. We're all going to go to the same place more than likely. I know people are coming up with genomics and trying to upload brains to the cloud, and you can live. That's like bullshit, artificial matrix. Like, whether it happens or not, it's still not going to be life as it is today. Regardless of what these people are doing, I don't care. But I'm hoping, and as you said, moving forward, we get to that place of like that sort of like that betterment here on earth, that sort of connectivity. Not to be nostalgic, but I felt like we had a more connection to people. And if nothing else, this past moment should have shown us is that it's all about people. It's all about us. It's all about your neighbor. It's all about your friends. It's all about your family, you know, and you trying to create and foster a world that we all can be like, you know, just healthy and happy in. It's not going to be utopia. That doesn't exist, but it could be better. And that's all I want.
It could be better. And man, this moment, despite the great loss and casualties, like I said, I have friends who lost family members. But for those of us who are still alive, like this moment really gives us a chance to just look at the way that the world has been going on for centuries, and to challenge it. Like, no, what was the norm wasn't working. Like, let's remove the pandemic or the illness. If we live lives that are more balanced, that doesn't have us, you know, on a train for 2 hours out of the day, or moving at a fast pace where we can't even catch up to ourselves. Like, oh, there is some good here. And it speaks to how, you know, the human experience and how we live our lives should just have more balance, have the opportunity for more meaningful connection. So yeah, I think about it a lot. Like, I don't know, I don't know why things are the way they are right now. I know they're you know, from what I believe, prophecies being fulfilled, but this moment is really allowing us to open our eyes a bit.
That 2020 vision, for sure.
Yeah, more clarity.
More clarity.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to end it on that. You know what I mean? I think you gave us all the jewels, and I'm just glad, and I appreciate, seriously, sincerely, that. Of course, we're gonna have your performance. I want the new piece. We're gonna get it, but I want to tell you, like, just as far as the closing, I always feel like I do 2 of these, but I don't care. You know, I just want to say thank you for being you, being yourself, being genuine, being strong, being, you know, just a light, man. I think in this day and age, the things that you say and the things that you believe, I think are things that people need to hear. there are people that you're speaking to who needed to hear this. You know, I think we're being led in a way where the goodness is not supposed to win. Like genuine people aren't supposed to be the ones that we look up to. It's supposed to be the con men. It's supposed to be the people who are like, you know, charismatic leaders who just want to lead you into the ditches, lead you astray. And it's something about saying that these old traditions, these old ways of feeling, these old ways of being, they still have value because they are not old. They are human. They are human.
Yes.
You know, I feel like we're trying to like innovate and advance humanity when we already have it figured out.
Woo.
Like I don't want to be cold about
You
it.
be saying some stuff, bro. You really
I mean, if people really want me to be real, I think we allowed a bunch of fucking antisocial nerds to dictate how we're gonna live life. We took the most antisocial among us. They created antisocial digital or quote unquote social media networks, and we allowed these people who are literally nerds, not to be rude about it, but people who aren't good at socializing, who aren't good at interacting. Think about the origination of Facebook. Like these things weren't done to connect people truly. They were like, you know, rating systems, mathematical things, not feeling things, not emotionality-based things. And they've just advanced their AIs on those same parameters of like humans are just things. Like, I know everybody wants The Matrix to be real. It's my favorite movie, but I don't actually want it to be real. It was a cool movie. I don't want it to be a cool life.
Yeah.
So, I hope we get back to the things that are real. You know, I think this more than anything else, we're trying to get back to that. And hopefully, you know, what you got to say is that real shit. So I'm gonna let you take it away. I'm gonna let you drop another jewel on us.
I bet. Like, okay, I'll preface this. I didn't memorize it. You know, I got a lot on my mind. But I'm gonna give you my all in terms of this performance. So, outside, she said. I just okay, so this piece, I live in Brooklyn, New York. I live in like real Brooklyn. I like gentrified Brooklyn. I'm sorry, I have to say that.
This is important.
I live in East Flatbush. It's a Caribbean neighborhood. It's just beaming with life. I live by a school. There's kids who play at the park or whatever, and things like that. And what sparked this piece is that I came home one day just from like walking the dog and being out and just, you know, seeing people out wearing their masks, just doing safely, you know, living life in a way with precaution, but like safely. And I came home and my wife said, I smell like outside. And that was just so nostalgic growing up. You go home, your mom says, or like, you know, your relative said, like, you smell like outside. That's happened to you, right, Cleon?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm smiling my ass off.
So I took that idea and took, you know, this idea of what I see outside and tied it back to, of course, just current events about being able to come home after being outside. So I'll start. Woo! This is a world premiere, by the way. I haven't shared this piece with anybody, not even like my social media, so. She said, you smell like down the block by the park near the chain link fences, watching black bodies ballroom across ball courts, glistening under the sun's approval, skin to cotton, sweat to skin, salt water seeping through their pores. Your fragrance is that of oceans and pursed lips at water fountains, where thirst competes with breathing, and hurry up is an echo only observed after the last sip trails from mouth to back of hand to palms, greasing the counter amid corner store chatter, head nod to Habibi before a newspaper glancing in fugitive cat dander, upon exit, upon sidewalk entrance, a call to kin, acknowledgement in the eyes, smiles thrown like boomerangs against my brotherhood PDA. Nah, I'm trying to get like you, home, me. She said your scent reeks of nacho cheese, deflated Doritos, trying to bag, and quarter waters. A Last Supper remix, a hunger for now, for fear that the next minute will find you in a fit described by blue eyes who aim and look to turn your matter into soot. But instead, you wear the smoky aroma of heated charcoal and burning flesh wafted by the curbside cook. You smell like outside. And Lord Jesus, and thank God. And what took you so long? Worry, masked in sass, a heartbeat slacking in pace as he walks past the kitchen, a whole soul, limbs intact, crumbs on his face, back inside, a feet for brown eyes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, bro. Seriously, I got to clap, bro. Like, just.
Thank you, my brother.
I won't lie, I was closing my eyes during that, and I got a little like nostalgic, man. The things that you were talking about, they felt so much like that real shit. They felt like home. They felt like growing up. That was beautiful, bro. Like, seriously, I don't want to do no corny, say nothing corny, but it's like that was really. I felt like living again, man. Seriously, it really felt like life.
Yeah, I'm just repeating it because, like, yeah. when you write something that resonates even with you, and it's like, yeah, I just feel alive, and you know, in a moment where I'm like getting teary, in a moment where people like us go outside and don't come back home. It's a privilege to be home, to be in the company of your loved ones, you know, and to smell like a warrior, you know, to smell like you've taken in your environment and you've survived just the normal things of like living as, you know, just a person of color. So yeah, just it's a blessing to be here. Yep.
Yeah, bro. Like I said when we started, you have a way with words. You capture our essence, our moment, our matter, our lives. I don't know. Your words always make me feel like I mattered, from Black Ivy till now. And I just want to say thank you for that. Like, I've always felt loved and valuable when our stories came from you, came out of your lips, because I knew they were coming from a valuable and loving place. And I just want to say thank you again, because ain't nobody better to tell a story.
Thank you, my brother. I love you.
I love you, bro. Seriously, thank you for this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I mean, I don't really like doing formal endings, but if y'all didn't feel something from this, then you just can't feel it. Over and over.
Just thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Like, it's really a privilege, and yeah.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Seriously, and thank Joekenneth. Another clap, man, for that.
Clap it up for Clayon for.
Thank you, guys. Signing off.
Connection. No, I was just shouting you out for preserving, you know, human connection. Like, what you're doing is incredible, man.
This is all I want to do, man. So I hope.
Without the time, you know, our conversation revolved around a lot around time and not having enough. But look, you have carved out the time to let all of us feel alive.
Thank you, bro. Damn. Look at that. We're gonna leave on that one and call it like that. Exactly. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Sharing out. We're gonna share some more later, but we out for now.